Okay, now we're going to be working on line 3 today of the Dolly Parton quote. And line 3 is kind of easy because it's just the word rainbow because the way I laid it out. So that it kind of emphasizes the rainbow, since I thought that was kind of the focal point. I mean, it's not necessarily the whole focal point of the quote, but it's a good focal point for the illustration of the quote. Okay, so you're going to pull up again on dafont.com. You're going to put in the Bromello font and then into the preview, and then you're going to put in the word rainbow, and it's going to pop up the word, and then you're going to start replicating it throughout. So as you can see, based on the grid that I made, the beginning of the R is hitting this column, and the end of the W hits this column so that it's evened out. So now I'm going to go through and kind of clean it up a little bit. I've done some of it, but not all of it. And again, if I make little choices of change here and there, which you might notice as you're looking at it, if this is the font you're choosing, that's fine. And it can be fine for you to make changes too, as long as you consistently make those changes all the way through your quote or Bible verse. And again, taking note of the A and how it comes up off of the line here, unlike how we would normally do a cursive A where it would hit the bottom of the line, but then the little like leg foot thing goes all the way below it. The I is pretty easy, you just thicken it up a little. And remember, you don't have to color these all the way in right now because you're going to go over them in pen. You're just kind of trying to lay them out. But every once in a while, try to make it where you can really tell from the video what it would look like. But if you do all of that now, it's going to get like all over your hand and be a massive mess. Let's see. I'm going to make the I like a little bit higher. And then the N. Let's see. So the I should actually connect to the N. So I'm going to thin it out as I go over. And then this part of the N, the little like hump part, should actually start all the way down here in this style of font. And then as you go around, it gets thicker and then it thins out again. I love the letter B in this font. I just think they're so pretty and fun. So I'm going to thicken it back out. Has a really big loop at the top. We're going to clean it up a little bit because I had it go over the bottom of the B and it's not supposed to do that. And then I made this little bit a little bit bigger than it should be, so I'm going to clean that up. And this is the kind of stuff you're going to be doing too. It's like you got to lay it out first and then go back in and tweak things, because you can't just expect yourself to get it perfect on the first go through. So that's why you want to do it thin to begin with and then go back in and make it thicker. And then I'm going to do the O, which gets thicker over here, and I'm making my O a little bit different than the way they make theirs. Pretty close, but not quite exactly the same. Doing my little loop. And then the W, which I told you I really like the W in this font too. There's just a lot of things about this font I like. I think part of what I like about this font too is not all the letters for sure, but some of it is kind of like my own like way of writing, where I sort of combine cursive with print. I don't necessarily do it as pretty as they do, but there's a lot of letters in here that kind of look like the way I do stuff naturally, so I guess I'm just maybe more drawn to this font. Okay, so that's kind of the gist for this today. And if you were doing this same quote, but you were doing it in the masculine script, again, it'll fit the same part of the page. It'll just be more cleaned up. It's more of a stereotypical cursive like we would learn in school. It's not exactly the same, but it's pretty close. So that's what you're going to work on for today. Just cleaning that up. And, you know, if you want to like get creative, if you draw extremely lightly, you could, you know, put a rainbow across here if you wanted, knowing that you're not going to like fill it in or anything right now. And if you do go that route, and let's say you want a watercolor, you would have to have paper that's nicer than just print out paper, or it'll like shred just from the water. Or you could do colored pencils. If you use watercolor, you're going to want to watercolor it before we go over it in ink. If you want to use colored pencils, we'll need to do the ink first, and then you can do the pencils. But you'll have to remember that it's very easy, even though it doesn't seem like this would be true, for the colored pencil to cover the ink. Maybe not completely, but a lot. And then if you try to go back over it with your pen, because there's so much wax in colored pencils, it ends up killing your pen. So it's a very laborious process. So yeah, that's it for today on this quote, and then I will start up on the next one and upload that too. Thank you.